Time for the deep end. Week 6, October 10th, 2023. Is your season in shambles? More importantly, is your life in shambles? Adam has a big announcement. He's not feeling well, so let's rush through this. Not to rush through anything important. Want to hear what he has to say. Then we'll talk about the deep end invitational, give an update on the standings, and then go team by team. The most interesting thing, even dynasty stuff. Sometimes, as we found out the last 2 weeks doing it this way, there were like the most interesting angle, or arguably the most interesting angle per team was a dynasty one. I'm thinking of Detroit for one for this. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. Mike Schopp, Adam Krautwurst, welcome to the deep end.
Is your life in shambles? That's a great question. That's a great question. I do miss playoff baseball. I'm not gonna lie. I'm watching these highlights. I'm like, man, I remember when the Red Sox were good, and I could enjoy these. I remember podcasting with you and having the Red Sox on the TV, Red Sox Yankees playoff games on the TV. But those were the days. Those
you had a jersey.
I did. I had one. No, I still do. I still do.
I won a big playoff, like, let me talk slower.
Whoa.
A big playoff Stratomatic baseball series this morning.
Wow.
Why aren't you in that?
Stratomatic?
That space. Yes.
I should be. Yes. I don't have I'm tilting over fantasy football. I don't have time to tilt over other stuff too. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. Fair enough. Do you have something to say about your life in fantasy football?
That's right.
You're hinting at it constantly.
Yeah. And I texted, so I'm texting with people over the weekend, and the high stakes crew is probably like, we're all like texting kind of the same people to help us get through the tough time. It wasn't even like that bad of a week fantasy wise. I expected a bad week because of the injuries that I already had, and because of the specific bye weeks. But it's just, to me, Sundays have not become fun anymore. I just sit there and I wait to see who's going to get hurt next, when they're going to get hurt, what team it's going to be on, how much money I'm going to lose on an injury. And it's just like, we're 25. I posted something today. We're 25 players deep through five weeks. 25.
Well, only counting like the big names.
Yes. Only 25 big names on offense. That doesn't count. I'm watching this Bills game, and it started at 9:30 in the morning with the Bills game. It was a flag or a season-ending injury for like 15 straight minutes. Flag, injury, flag, injury. And I'm just like, and it's not even like, I just need to know what is going on. Is it their diet? Is it the field? Is it the turf? Is it, I mean, it's just, Trey White is jogging down the field and his Achilles explodes. Justin Jefferson goes to make a cut and he slips and falls. And Travis Kelce goes to go upfield and slips and falls. Like, is it the turf? Like, what has changed? It was never, I've been doing high stakes, playing fantasy football my entire life. It's never, I mean, maybe the stakes are higher for me. So it means more having, between $50,000 and $100,000 invested every year, but.
And hold that thought. And as you get older, you think, terrible thing, but it's true. You think more about other people.
I'm sorry.
You think more about other people around you.
Yeah.
So when I lose, if I'm 24, I don't even notice. I don't feel anything. If I'm 34, it's harder. 44, kids, family. 54, retirement. Like, it gets more real.
Yeah.
As you age. Back to you.
Yeah, no. And it's exactly right. And it's just the swing. Like, I just feel like the having so many teams and so many players, that Sundays are supposed to be fun. You're supposed to sit back with your family and watch the games, and you know what players you have the most shares of, and they're scoring touchdowns and you're high-fiving. And that's good in like the Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night standalone games where you know what you need, you know who you're playing against, that type of thing. But man, Sundays with the injury, it's just Friday hamstring pulls. What are they doing in Prague? Friday hamstring pulls, like, all the time. It's constant, like, 22-year-old athletes in the prime of their life. And I just, it's become, and the whole grind, just grind the waiver. It's like, oh my, you're not good. Where are you getting Justin Jefferson? Like, sorry, go to the waiver wire. You're not finding anyone near Justin Jefferson's value there. He's gone 4 weeks. Deontay Johnson, 6-7 weeks. I mean, it's just it's a chain. You know, we had 3 or 4 running backs go on the IR today. It's just it's becoming to the point where like it's less and less and less. By the second, it's less and less about skill and more about like if you go, I guarantee you, and this is not I have some teams that are in really, really great shape. You know why they're in great shape? Because they don't have injuries. Go look at all these top teams. Why are they good? They don't have any injuries. I have a team that's 3rd place overall in the Kentucky main event, $25,000 up top, 3rd overall, and I have Nick Chubb. It's a Nick Chubb team. Like, can you imagine? You know, so I don't know. It started with JK. It started with me in Vegas, ready for a beautiful season, and then J.K. Dobbins 3 minutes into the year, and it just has. I feel like it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there will be a strategic pivot gradually over time. You know, what do we do? What did the injuries tell us? Like, do you have Jerome Ford on that team with Chubb? No, because you would never. But maybe that becomes more of something you do because injuries become that much more likely. I think, you know, for me, it's for a couple of years, I've been predicting a NFL world where teams sit guys on purpose. In fact, it cost me dearly in week 2 when Philadelphia went to New England and it was Gainwell and Swift. Swift barely played. And then Penny was inactive, then active for week 2, the Thursday night. Like, that's what a smart team would do. And everybody thinks the Philadelphia Eagles are a smart team. So Penny plays in week 2. No. Swift plays in week 2. So teams aren't even really there yet. The load management stuff. And on the other side of the coin, the NBA is already starting to curtail that.
Yes.
You can only sit out certain games. So there is that. But the NFL is so grueling that I think instead of load management, you're having like Achan. He's one of like 5 guys like this, where you watched his whole game and you didn't even really realize he was injured.
Yep.
And then he's out. He might go to IR. You know, Jefferson got hurt. I think the bigger force in this is sort of the inevitable growth of the athletes on a field that is the same size against other athletes that are also getting bigger. And I don't know if that explains like Travis Kelce going down non-contact. The NFLPA is advocating for all grass fields. The NFL says too expensive, which is, I mean, laughable.
Right.
So I don't know where that's going, but the best you can do, if you're already invested, your money is in, it's frustrating. You want to give up, but you know you can't give up. You don't really want to give up. You just sort of feel like you can't win. So you just got to keep like grinding, double grinding, triple grinding, you know, try to keep. We picked up Ronnie Rivers 2 or 3 weeks ago in the deep end, and Kyren Williams has held up, but he's not good. And Rivers rather has emerged as like, okay, he's the next guy, but we're not there yet. And you could end up winning big because in time, the right guys for you get hurt and the other guys you have don't. And I don't know, maybe that feels better. It's the overall point is it feels like you're playing a slot machine, and I get it.
Yeah. And that's it. It's not even about like it's about what are we doing for 6 months? We're grinding this and what are the coaches going to do? And what are the players going to do? And how is he a good route runner? What's the reception perception? Is he good against zone? Is this running back a zone scheme guy? All the podcasts and articles and thousands of hours. And then you just sit there and watch everybody get hurt. And it doesn't matter. Hurt. Like, oh, okay. Well, so none of that even mattered. So,
well, Adam, you listed 25 players in your tweet.
Yes.
That's less than 1 per team.
Sure. Yep.
So you and I we'll go through the league. We'll think of teams that are not, if you want to think about it this way, not afflicted by injuries. Maybe that means they'll get hurt this week, but
right.
So far so good on some of those teams. I mean, it's really hard to know. It's funny. Dallas is one of these teams that has not had injury stuff yet, and nobody looks good.
Well, offensively, they lost their top corner, fit to the
Yeah,
year.
right. Offensively, and Van Der Esch
yeah.
as well. That's right.
And Van Der Esch, that's right. Yeah. But no, you're right there. The offense has not looked good.
All right, quick look at the Deep End Invitational. I have a tweet from our account. If you can share that, please. There it is. For the second week in a row, I think Mike Leone is the overall leader. Dwayne McFarland put up 230 plus in week 5 best ball. There were big scores. It was not as easy as in week 4, but they were out there. So he moves into second by like 2.1 points behind. Our friends at Go Bills, they never fail. They're right there behind Dwayne, and third overall, Louis G, Chad Schroeder as well, leading their divisions. Adam, you're right behind Chad. That has to feel familiar.
It's so sick. I'm trying to find some ray of hope, some light in the air. And like, oh no, Chad actually put up a million points, and now you're behind him again. But no, I had a really good week again. I haven't had Eckler, so I'm hoping, and my team's fairly healthy. Although I think I have A-Chain on the team, so we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm right up in there. I'm hoping to catch Chad. Oh, it's gonna be brutal if I come in second place to him again.
Not official. So you are 12.5 points behind him. Second in Division 3, 846. I'm at 779 with a cool 0 at quarterback this week.
Oh no,
that's tough to overcome. Anyway,
right.
enough about this DEI. That can wait until one of us does better. I finished second overall last year. Adam finished second overall the year before. That we're almost in first in our division.
It's right. No, it's not going to fly.
Can't respect that. Let's go team by team through the NFL. Mike Schopp and Adam Krautwurst. Before we do that, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor.
Hey, we're all starting new fantasy leagues all the time. And more often than not, where do we start our fantasy leagues at Player Profiler? On Sleeper. Because it's the best. You can imagine my excitement when I saw Sleeper rolled out. Sleeper picks, baby. And game stacking is the path to positive returns with these pick'em games. Find that sneaky shootout and set most of the players to go over their projection for that week. Or you find a game going to get dragged into the mud and take every member of the passing game for less than their projections that week. And if you pick up to 8, that's how you 100x your payout on Sleeper. It's called the Hail Mary. So if you use promo code Underworld, you get a $100 instant deposit match. Check out Sleeper's terms and conditions for details. These Sleeper picks are live in over 25 states. Yeah, buddy.
All right, let's go team by team. What is that little mark? Got rid of it. Only one way to order the teams: AFC, NFC, East, North, South, West, alphabetically within divisions. Let's go. Buffalo Bills, bad loss. 2 thoughts here. I guess the running back situation, James Cook is maybe the most interesting thing. Kincaid was like always a rookie and never got out. So what he's doing right now is not sort of different for this year. Cook, though, like, what are your thoughts on him? Redraft, high stakes?
Yeah, Cook was a guy that we were never really on because, again, it's about the goal line carries. He did get a goal line carry 2 weeks ago and scored on it. They were kind of in a hurry up offense.
He almost fumbled that play.
Oh, I saw that.
And the play before, by the way.
I did see that.
If that matters.
But what's interesting, it does, I think, to me, to you, to the coaches. What's interesting is they were down this week the entire game, and they never threw him the ball. So that's what I find interesting. He wasn't a part of the offense in that way. And Allen throws for 380 yards, or throws for 350 and whatever. It was for 380 total yards. In that game, it's a really, really odd game where like your all-pro quarterback gets there statistically, but they can't move the ball on third down. Dalton Kincaid is the other one that people want to talk about. I mean, he got hurt in that game. Did you have an update on his injury status?
Nope, that'll be tomorrow. Concussion protocol. Okay. There's a chance. I'll take it. There's a chance that Kincaid misses and knocks. And if that happens, especially just Kincaid alone, maybe you get a real sense of what the Bills would do at wide receiver 3
Yeah.
if Kincaid is not there. Right now, it feels like this is not how they would put it, but Kincaid is blocking that position. He's just sort of underneath, meaningless, kind of just the volume's there. So he's not Lee Smith, but it's just not amounting to much. But Deontay Hardy, Trent Sherfield, Khalil Shakir, nobody's playing at all in that group. And if Kincaid were to miss, that would probably change. They are playing the Giants, so they could also win like 17-3 and just, run Cook in the slot and Murray all night. I don't know. That won't happen. So I would like to see what the Bills would do if Kincaid misses a game.
Yes, I would like to see what they would do if Knox misses a game. I'd like to see that, but we're never going to find out.
What do you think? Like Kincaid doesn't go inside. Reggie Gilliam takes a spot. They don't throw to him.
I know it doesn't make any. Listen, this is what everybody wanted. They wanted Josh to take what the defense is giving him. Dalton Kincaid is a seam stretcher. They're not stretching the seams. They're playing that shell, and he's taking the underneath stuff, or he's going way over the top, and that's not Kincaid either. So, he got Diggs deep and Gabe Davis deep a couple times in this game. Kincaid, like I said a week or two ago, is probably droppable in 9 tight end premium leagues.
Miami, Achane is out for at least a game. Hill is Hill. Waddle is okay.
Yeah.
Probably not worth the draft capital we spent in round 2 all summer, but okay, got in. Is there a sort of a way you would turn in terms of Miami? I mean, Jeff Wilson, I guess, could happen. Mostert could happen. You just got to stay water when it comes to the Dolphins at running back.
Yeah, you just want the pieces, man. He's such a good coach. He's so smart. He's going to get the guys the ball. He has people in the offense that he's going to use like they're not there for like no reason, right? He's got a purpose for each and every one of them. Jeff Wilson's back this week, I think, and yeah, he's set to come off the IR. So if he's active, I would start him just like you would have started Mostert last week. They're not going to ride. Mostert's not getting 20 carries.
That's right.
So it's going to be, Jeff Wilson's going to have his shot, and he's performed in this offense before. So
Ahmed is there too, and he might be above Wilson. And they're playing Carolina. They could be up 35-3 at halftime again, and so you could get stomped on Wilson. You
could, but I'd like to read some reports and that type of thing. But I think, listen, here's another way to look. If you held Wilson this long, you were waiting for this opportunity where he's in there and active, and with the injuries and the bye weeks, you probably can start him.
I just wouldn't feel like I had to.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the lineup. Yeah, no, you definitely don't. Do you ever have to start Jeff Wilson? I guess that's a good point.
New England, I think I brought up Ramondre Stevenson for New England last week. Hunter Henry doing fine. There's no one else. Is Stevenson not right, or is it a game script thing? Do you have a take?
I think this is like the opposite of Miami, where like you can just trust everything McDaniel's doing. The guy's just on it. New England's the opposite. Like they're doing everything wrong all the time. I mean, is Stevenson? I don't think Stevenson's like hurt, and he looked good last year and the year before. So I just think it's an offensive philosophy. They're just not very good. He's a great pass catching running back. He's not getting involved in the passing game. So, I mean, Stevenson's in big trouble. That offense and that team is a disaster.
They have the Raiders this week. There is some hope that somebody emerges. Kendrick Bourne can be a flex play, I think, in that offense. I mean, Jones is playing for his career at this point, if they let him. So maybe the schedule gets a little lighter. New England has had some tough matchups. I don't know if New Orleans counts, and they're losing by 100. But Bourne, I think, if I had to play one Patriot receiver this week for money in a vacuum, it would be him. Tyquan Thornton, in the window is open.
Oh,
maybe our best ball teams with Tyquan Thornton have life, but still 21 days.
With that being said, sorry, real quick. Patriots 6th best strength of schedule for running backs moving forward. They get Denver in the semifinals of the season at the end.
16,
yep.
Buffalo in 17. Buffalo's the worst yards per carry against in the league. Oh,
There
let's
you go.
Let's go. Jets, Breece Hall happened. Garrett Wilson still has a pulse. I mean, it's not all bad.
No, not all bad. They're winning. Breece Hall, they finally let him go. Not much to say. Looked great. He looks back like he's back. That's good news. That's something I did like seeing on Sunday.
Ravens in Europe, Sunday morning, 9:30 in London. Oh, man, this is a really tough one. I mean, of course, Andrews and probably, of course, Jackson, but all the drop passes. And then,
I know.
I mean, Gus, I guess. I mean, what do you do with Baltimore? Zay Flowers this week? There's going to be, if you have Zay Flowers in an FFPC league, there might be 10 comparable receivers in that range where he is playing against the Titans who give up the pass, but in London at 9:30 in the morning for Baltimore. You have a vibe there?
Yeah, I think I like Zay's Flowers is due. I mean, he dropped a big one last week. One or two of them. One, he was in the middle of the field. He probably would have. He's so fast. He probably would have beat his guy and scored. Andrews dropped
bad.
one in the end zone. I know he's due. The usage is there. He's averaging 12.5 fantasy points a game PPR. So that's been fine. But he's due for an explosion. This offense is due for an explosion. Lamar's playing fine. The drops, he had 7 drops last week. Like, come on. So I think this offense is due for an explosion. I'd be excited to start Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Lamar this week. Wouldn't be excited to start any of the running backs, especially against a team that's run funnel, really stops the running game and lets you pass on them. I was looking for that 14-16 score, Mike. You almost got there last week, Steelers.
16-15,
Ravens,
settled for 17-10. I mean, just nobody in that rivalry. So you would take sort of the Titans season so far getting thrown on over the fact that it's London and it's Baltimore, which has not really emerged as different fundamentally offensively since last year. I mean, Beckham is in and out. And Bateman, poor Bateman, last week I'm in here talking about, like, why are you hurt? It's just easy drops. And
I know.
What happened to that guy?
Dropped a touchdown. Yeah. I know. Exactly.
The Ravens never have good vibes.
I know.
Bengals, much better. Is it the Cardinals or is it the Bengals that changed the script on Cincinnati from last week? Maybe T. Higgins comes back, but T. Higgins has also been somebody that's been activated and stands on the sideline all night, like holding a clipboard. Chase, yes. Monster game. Man, there's not a lot that's different here with Cincinnati. I mean, the result is different, but home to Seattle this week, does that tell you something?
I'm just so happy that they did not activate T. Higgins, because if they activated him, people would have started him and he would have done the same thing. He would have sat on the sidelines holding the clipboard. I also want to know what the algorithm is for when you get alpha guys like Jamar Chase who are saying, I'm always effing open the week leading up to the game. What's the algorithm on the over-under for that? Like, you knew he was going to smash. Maybe not 50 fantasy points worth, but you knew that smash was coming. This week they have I think the second best. Sorry, I'm looking it up here. The second best receiver matchup against Seattle at home. So I'm excited. I picked up Irwin. I had to. In some of these leagues out there, Mike, you can start 5 receivers with the injuries and stuff. I was forced to pick up Irwin in a couple leagues. Man, whenever he gets his shot, he looks like he belongs. So if you get T. Higgins out again, I might go look to Irwin. Go look to Irwin.
Really?
Why not?
Trenton Irwin is a thing that's like reliable.
Burrow likes him. Whenever there's an injury, go look last year.
Okay, Irwin, I will.
But I have to be spot starter. He's a little spot starter.
I have to get through the show first, but I will do that. Cleveland, more weird / negative Deshaun Watson vibes. Like, functionally ready. What is bubbling under the surface in Cleveland? I mean, Jerome Ford, okay. Cooper, okay. Elijah Moore, Njoku, nothing feels good there. I don't know, Adam. Watson still makes you wonder. PJ Walker plays if Watson doesn't, and at least I think you get points there, good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, is it San Francisco this
yes.
week? I don't want to start any of these. I mean, you're probably starting Cooper, but Elijah Moore is usually on the cusp. No. Deshaun Watson. If you got like a Brock Purdy to go with, I'm going Purdy, even though Purdy's got a tough matchup with Cleveland as well. Like, hold off on the Cleveland. Cleveland gets Indy the following week where they have a pretty good, or not a very good pass defense. Wait to start everybody then.
Pittsburgh on bye this week. Okay. Houston, kind of a bad week for Houston. Everybody sort of bought in to Stroud and the Texans offense. Tank Dell, concussion protocol. Nico Collins, all right. Damian Pierce, lots of volume, but not a lot of stuff there. Schultz gets in the end zone. Wow, this is really interesting. The last 2 weeks doing this team-by-team thing, it's all just come sort of easy for me. And this week in the AFC, at least, we'll see what happens from here. But I'm not finding too much actionable or that's really interesting or different about these teams. I mean, Stroud, I still like him, but Atlanta was not a great day.
No, Pierce has 44 carries over the last 2 games. The old line's getting healthier. You know, I started Nico. I had a big league this week, Mike, where I started Nico over Pickens, and it cost me. That stuff's going to happen. I mean, Pickens against the Ravens. I thought Nico would have kept his hot streak going, but Pierce hasn't gotten there yet because he's not getting the catches and he's not getting the touchdowns. But the attempts are there. I think he's probably might be a buy low. I mean, obviously in a lot of leagues we play and we can't trade for him, but I think he'll get there. He's a healthy running back on an offense that's a little bit overachieving. So I think he's a guy you can still start.
I think the first rematch of the season is Indianapolis at Jacksonville. I did not believe the Jonathan Taylor pitch count stuff, especially when Richardson went out. But Zach Moss, held it down. So now Colts at Jaguars, Minshew for Richardson. You and I need a quarterback in a main event with Richardson alone. He's injured. It might be a few weeks. And it's like Joshua Dobbs and Baker Mayfield and I'm doing a Donahue skit. Kenny Pickett and Jim Bag Jones and Tyrod Taylor. We'll have to figure that out. But Indy alive.
Josh Downs, man, averaging 15 points the last 2 games. Minshew, we talked all off season, like, man, if Richardson fails, this whole offense is going to fail. The Jonathan Taylor stuff. What's your take on the Jonathan Taylor? Because I see Zach Moss. So Zach Moss was in Buffalo. I watched him. He was terrible for 2 or 3 years. I see Zach Moss succeeding, and I see that as a good sign for Jonathan Taylor. I have, buddies where we co-own teams together, and they're like, oh, we have Jonathan Taylor. Oh, man, Taylor's never going to get the workload back. They just signed this guy to a big deal. I look at this and go, man, if Zach Moss can do it, Jonathan Taylor can do it. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to give Taylor 100% because no one gets 100%, but if he can get the bell cow work in that backfield. Now he's going to get the goal line carries with no Richardson there for a couple of weeks. Jonathan Taylor could be an absolute smash. I like him going forward.
I do too. I would have started him last week. I would have lost bad, because I didn't believe the pitch count thing, snap count. But Moss got there early, even before Richardson went out. Jacksonville, I mean, great day for ETN, Ridley, Kirk. They all made it against Buffalo, against Indianapolis. Again, like, what's your Jacksonville take? Do you have one? I mean, ETN has been, he got there in week 5. I know that.
Yeah. I think Jacksonville reminds me a lot of like the Niners. They're like a light, like the Niners, like when everyone's healthy, like really only one guy can really hit. And a lot of times it's the running back. Like when everyone's healthy, McCaffrey's always hitting. Same with the Jaguars, where like everyone's out there, so they kind of cannibalize each other, and then you get ETN in a game against Buffalo where he just looks great, and it's perfect game script too, right? Like they're winning most of the game. The Bills can't stay on the field on offense, so this will probably be ETN's best game of the year. But I think with the receivers, when they're all healthy, it's hard to really love any of them.
Tennessee, the only guy I'd want to start this week is DeAndre Hopkins. It feels a little bit like a sucker play because he was great last week in London against Baltimore. Baltimore and Tennessee, these two teams were they're like twins. And Baltimore has played Derrick Henry a lot. I feel like Henry won't get out. Spears maybe does a couple things. Okonkwo is Okonkwo. That's how you say it, by the way. The new Okwebanum. How come all these shows can't say Okonkwo? It's not even hard.
Right.
Okay. We're past that. We'll see who listens to us. Maybe nobody in that space. But Treylon Burks can't get on the field. I think Hopkins is probably pretty safe this week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Hopkins, it's nice to see him get going. I mean, some of the catches he makes, man, they're so athletic and acrobatic on the sidelines. Like, it's really nice to have a guy like him. But you're going to start where you drafted him anyways. You're going to start him if he's healthy. You're going to play him. I will say about Derrick Henry, people are getting nervous. You know, I get it. He has the Titans have an incredible end of the year running back schedule. The last 7 games, they get Carolina, Indy, Miami, Houston, Seattle, Houston. 5 of those 6 games, sorry, it was 6 games. 5 of those 6 games are against major positive running scripts or major positive strength of schedule for the running back, as far as like how many points these teams give up to the running back position. So if you can just get through with Henry, or maybe you have the backup, or maybe there's an injury there or something, and someone can get the backfield themselves, there's still some fantasy points to be had in this backfield, I think, for sure.
Who is the Denver receiver you want? Who is the Denver running back you want rest of season?
I don't want any of the receivers. Was there talk of Jerry Jeudy getting traded today? I don't know. I saw a couple things. I feel like people are always talking about.
I did not see an actual trade, but people have been talking about him being traded for like forever.
For like 2 months, yeah. I like Jaleel McLaughlin, man. I think he's probably the best runner on that team right now. He looks explosive. He looks incredible. I threw him and P. Ryan into some lineups once Javonte Williams was considered out. But McLaughlin looks good, and hopefully, like, the coach there can see that. You know, Peyton can see, and like, hey, this guy. The problem is when you have 3 backs, then you're in trouble. But as long as there's 2 backs there, and I would roll him out there.
Okay. Javonte Williams, full practice Thursday night at the Chiefs, who we get to next.
Yeah.
Kelsey back at practice. Rashee Rice is sort of pushing the other receiver forces away, but it could take too long. Isaiah Pacheco has been good.
Isaiah Pacheco has been great. He runs just like Marshawn. It's so crazy to watch him run. He's been great. I'm excited to start a player like him, because they use him in the right ways. They use him where it makes sense. So I like Pacheco. I mean, Rashee Rice, I get it. He's the guy kind of emerging. Tony gets hurt again. And so if there's a receiver to start there, it's Rashee Rice, but you still definitely don't feel comfortable doing it. He's still probably a wide receiver 4. But Kelsey's the guy. But Jared Smola tweeted out today all his like underlying metrics are as low as they've ever been. The ADOT, the yards after catch, the yards per catch, all that stuff. So he's been banged up early this season.
On who?
Kelsey. I'm sorry.
No,
yeah,
you said it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you want to do about it?
Oh, nothing. He's
he's on
older.
He's either on our teams or he's not. We're not doing anything about it. We're not trading for
Travis Kelce.
We're not trading him away. You can't get Sam Laporta for Travis Kelce straight up. I mean, just
Laporta.
What are you going to do about it? Like, you drafted him. That's your bed. You lie in it. Raiders. I mean, whatever. Nothing. Jacobs, sure. They have New England at home this week. Adams, yes. Myers, yes. Revenge game. Okay.
Yeah, you're starting all those. Normal guys. Quick trade question, Mike, because we just talked about Pacheco. Christian Watson or Pacheco full PPR rest of season. What are you thinking?
Pacheco's been good. Like, he's sort of taken over that backfield. And Watson, that's what, 177-yard pass away from a complete dud.
Yeah.
Watson's okay. Last night was very concerning for me for Green Bay. I've always wanted to sort of back Jordan Love and believe in that, but just too hard against a team that's too easy.
Yeah, that's right. That's the best way to put it. Yep.
Chargers are back. It's Keenan Allen, of course. Eckler, 99%, he says. Herbert against Dallas Monday night. Start everybody.
Yes, I'm interested to see what they do. Quentin Johnston, Palmer, Keenan Allen, Everett, like what the roles are going to be coming out of the bye week. Usually when you get situations like this, the rookies coming out of the bye week, if it's a complete dud for Johnston and he doesn't get the targets, he doesn't get the volume, it's probably Palmer rest of the season having this opportunity to go into the bye week and come out. If they don't really incorporate him, it's going to be scary.
All the vibes on Dallas, again, back to back, but across the conference, are really negative. Lamb, the body language is terrible. I mean, he wants it that way, I think. Tony Pollard, everybody loved him. Volume is there, but not much for efficiency. Ferguson, I guess. Is there anybody on Dallas you're sort of thinking is value anymore?
Someone's talking to Jerry Jones today. I don't know if you saw that. They're like, oh, we got to get CeeDee Lamb the ball more. Junior's like, I don't know about that. I like getting the tight ends. I like getting the tight ends involved. He's such a clown. He's so
CeeDee Lamb or Peyton Hendershot.
That's
week.
Right. Yeah. They're. I don't want to get too crazy. I mean, the Niners are like really, really, really good, and it's like that game was a disaster for Dallas, and their coaching is terrible. But like, I still want to believe like Cooks, like is Cooks cuttable? Like, I mean, we don't know what's going on there. Another receiver hasn't emerged, Gallup and all that. Like
Gallup has had a couple of interesting weeks. Fair question on Cooks, but I mean, hopefully not.
Yeah. I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll see how they do this week.
What I hate is that they are way behind in this game Sunday, and the Arizona game was not that much different. The Arizona game, what they wanted to do down 15 points was run all the time. And then Sunday night, nothing happened. It was just picks. Yeah. So garbage time was there for Dallas. They're already a team that can get way ahead, and that was fine. But in garbage time, they were a disaster. So I don't like the vibes there at all. New York Giants at the Bills. Ugh. We'll see about Barkley. We'll see about Daniel Jones. If I were they, I'd want to run the ball on every play. And I think against Buffalo, that kind of mindset could work.
Bills just lose their best linebacker for the year. Maybe, it's going to be hard for him to even come back. Broken leg and torn ACL, MCL. I mean, that's a disaster. Good luck to Matt Milano. But you know what? I saw the backup. I can't remember his name. The backup linebacker came in and had like a really great PFF grade for the game.
No,
so maybe
the worst.
Maybe he's good too. Maybe he's good.
Dorian Williams from Tulane. It was a 35. And he got pulled. He made a couple plays, but he missed a bunch of tackles, and McDermott took him out.
Okay, maybe it was somebody else. But anyways, the best way to attack the Bills is on the ground this year for sure. Saquon, get the guy in there, get him some catches. Maybe falls in for a touchdown, but this game's probably going to be a blowout.
Two-part question. Philadelphia, where are we at on Devontae Smith?
That is a great question. They're just not using him. Everything's working so well. Like everything's so easy for them. They can hand the ball off to Swift. The O-line's good. No one can stop AJ Brown. Goddard, of course, the squeaky wheel Goddard. You knew he was going to get going. So Smith's going to have his weeks. You're obviously not benching him, but he's kind of like Waddle, where like you haven't gotten the return on your investment yet.
And part two, where are we at on Jahan Dotson?
Who?
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, is that just going to be 3 for 20 every week?
I guess.
Is that what they want? How could that be what they want? How is Ron Rivera still an NFL head coach? I mean, the field goals, Rivera, McDaniels, some of these guys, you cannot believe they've gotten second chances and they're still going. Is anybody paying attention?
I know. And Sam Howell threw for like 350 yards last week, and none of the receivers did anything. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. He's a guy, again, listen, I haven't gotten into the waiver wire yet. You're always in there a little bit earlier than I am. We might find him on some of these waiver wires after tonight.
He might be on a couple of leagues where I have him now, and then I'll get done with you and then go cut him a couple of times. I mean, not really, but
I know.
Just does not make sense. NFC North, Chicago, what a story the last 2 weeks, the Bears with Fields and Moore. Running back, is that Deontay Foreman maybe this week? Darnell Mooney a 0. Is Moore going to make it? Like, is that going to continue?
I mean, obviously that was at 50 fantasy points or so, something like that, pushing 50. Listen, we knew this was gonna let Fields just play. This happened last year. Let him just do what he does best and let him play, let him get comfortable, let him sling it. And of course, the videos are coming out this week of the game where he was comfortable and doing what he likes to do and moving the safety with his eyes. Like, of course, DJ Moore's a good receiver. I think the offense is going to start clicking now. Running back's interesting. I actually picked up Foreman in a couple of leagues on Sunday morning waiver run for $1 because I think the news came out on Herbert Sunday morning. Of course, man, the timing. I've got so much Roshan. I think you have some Roshan too. Like, this has been the perfect week to roll out Roshan, so we might only get 1 week of Roshan Johnson having the backfield. But I don't know. Is Roshan ruled out for Sunday because it was a Thursday game? It's a Thursday game, so he might have some time to get out of concussion protocol. But I think it's probably Foreman this week. No,
last week was Thursday.
But right, what I'm saying is he got a concussion on Thursday. So
sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
got it.
Yep, yeah, extra 3 or 4 days there. So, but still, arrow up for Roshan Johnson for sure.
Detroit, I have one Lions question. Who is Dynasty tight end 1?
You just want to hear somebody say it. I love it.
Well, it's Andrews, I think. And then maybe it's Hawkinson, and then Laporta is like no worse than 4th because who are 2 guys who would come in ahead of him? Like, I got 4 trade offers for Laporta today in 4 different leagues, 3 different leagues, 4 different people, redraft, dynasty. They're just like, they don't think anything of me. So of course I would be ready to trade Sam Laporta for just like, I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins or something. He is making a statement though. He's going to smash rookie records, and it does also feel like something that could last.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to last. He's talented, and they want like the opposite of like Jameson Williams and Gibbs and all these guys. Like, they don't want, like, if those guys are smashing, they're probably losing. Whereas the Lions, when they use Laporta, when they use Montgomery, when they use Amon-Ra St. Brown, those guys you use them when you're winning games. Those are your short yardage. The interesting thing to me, I've always been confused, but they had Hawkinson. Like, why did you trade Hawkinson? Like, you knew you were going to take Laporta like a year later in the second round. Like, I never understood why they did that. They already had Hawkinson there. They got a great trade there, and it was a different GM.
Okay. So
gotcha.
They did well there. Trade him in the division. Fine. We know we're right. I mean, Adam, they're using Laporta on trick plays as a rookie in week 5.
Yeah.
They're just messing with you when it comes to him. I think it just keeps getting better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Green Bay, very disappointing result for Green Bay. I mean, the Dobbs drop, and then, Watson had 1 play. A.J. Dillon, 28 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown or whatever that was. I don't know. I've liked Jordan Love sort of logically, and I still want to, but that was not a great result. They're on bye this week.
Yeah, not a great week to go on a bye. I mean, maybe it's a good, but like, you don't want to go into a bye getting embarrassed like that. I mean, the game was close, but he looked really bad. He looked like a deer in headlight. That 1 pick was like so bad that he threw.
The second one.
Yeah. So I still want to believe, like, again, I want to believe in Christian Watson. The talent, the way I look at it too, is like Watson comes back, barely plays, still gets you a touchdown. Next week comes out, the offense can't do a thing. He still gets you a 70-yard catch. Like, they're going to have games where they're clicking, but you're right. This Raiders game was supposed to be a coming out party for a lot of those guys. The Aaron Jones fiasco. I mean, we were helped by the Aaron Jones situation in a main event that we're in, but oh my goodness, like that's another. I should have put Aaron Jones on my list twice. There's 26 players actually. I mean, how does that happen? He's supposed to play. I did have some AJ Dillon in some spots to back him up, but man, that was ugly.
Interesting franchise to monitor. Like Jones was back and then he went away. Bakhtiari was like,
Yes.
oh, he wants to play on grass. Then I'm done for the year. I feel like there are some veterans on that team after Aaron Rodgers left that do not believe in what they're doing, and that could get bad after Monday night. That could get bad fast.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Justin Jefferson is out at least 4 games. Everybody's talking about whether they dump the season. I don't know how they do that exactly, but Colt McCoy was in for a workout today from UnderdogFantasy.com.
Oh no!
Like, are the Vikings? How much in peril are those guys? I mean, I want to think Addison is playable especially in Jefferson's absence, but are they going to be the team that tanks?
They should. I mean, you found yourself there on accident. Here you are. You could absolutely see it. This Jefferson thing, though, I've seen people posting that he's not going to play the rest of the year. I'm like, it's a hamstring injury. They're going to put him on the IR, and he's going to come back and play in 4 or 5. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what injury Justin Jefferson gets. He's getting paid. He has the most yards by a receiver on a per game basis ever by like 10 yards a game. Like, he's going to get paid. So this whole, he doesn't want to come back if the team's that he wants to play. He likes playing football. Like, he likes competing. So, I mean, I think he's coming back after 4 weeks. I wouldn't go selling him for anything. You know what I mean?
I offered Adam Kelly in the League of Shopes and Dreams tonight, Dynasty, Jalen Waddle for Jefferson. He's 8-2. He's never won this league. He wants to do it. Snap reject. Exactly. Come on. Atlanta, nice day for Kyle Pitts and London and even Jonnu Smith if you want it. They have Washington this week. Keep going? Keep pushing? Or no?
I don't know. I mean, season high in fantasy points with 16. Target share 27%. 11 targets. But, it's the same old, man. Here's the thing. I think I went on the record like 3 times in the last 10 days going, and then if you start Pitts, he's not going to kill you. It's not like he's going to cost you a week. You know how many times I started Hunter Henry over Kyle Pitts this week?
Well, it might have worked out.
Literally did cost me games. Literally 0 points from Hunter Henry. Oh,
Henry.
So gross.
0?
0 from Hunter Henry. Goose.
When?
This last
week?
Yes.
He did?
He did. 0 fantasy
I didn't know that.
From Hunter Henry.
0 against New Orleans?
We started him with Billy. I started with Billy, and I'm like, we got to go Henry over Pitts, and we hemmed and hawed. He wanted Pitts. I'm like, so we go Henry. It didn't end up mattering because Aaron Jones ended up costing us on that one too. But 0. He literally. Anyways,
well, they're both old, so don't act like I didn't tell you.
That is true. That is true.
Didn't even know that. Sorry. So
it's good to see out of Kyle Pitts. It's good to see a little bit of something from him. But again, if you've got options that you think are just as good, I would lean towards those options. Jonnu Smith's still very, very involved.
Carolina, fantasy-wise only, don't give up. At Miami this week should be terrible. Then the bye, then Houston, Indianapolis, Chicago. There should be some points there. If there aren't, I mean, good luck to Bryce Young at that point. But just don't cut all. Adam Thielen, by the way, is just what. It's just hard to talk about. But even after Thielen, if there's a right answer, whether that's Mingo or even Sanders, like there should be some scoring potential weeks 7 through 9. That's all.
That's it.
New Orleans 34-0 over New England. Olave is not getting the meaty, sort of exciting downfield passes. Derek Carr is hurt, probably shouldn't be playing. I don't know. The Saints, Kamara.
Got to be excited about Kamara. I got some teams that Kamara's like a little savior, a little saving piece comes back, and they're using him. I think the piece is okay. He'll be fine. Michael Thomas has been okay. He's been healthy, putting together some okay weeks. Again, nothing big from him yet. But Olave, I think he hurt it. I think he hurt himself in the pregame. Like I think he tweaked something because they showed.
Yeah,
maybe not.
It was maybe before that, and they showed in the pregame, and it wasn't much. But they were so far ahead, didn't even matter.
Right.
Carr is hurt too. Olave is sort of adrift.
Yeah, he's like Waddle. He's like Higgins. He's like Devontae Smith. All those second round receivers, man. They just haven't caught their stride yet.
General feeling on the Bucs. Home to Detroit, flexed game to 4:30, then Atlanta at home, then the Bills and the Texans away. Do you feel like you want to sort of buy into Mayfield and that offense, or is that too much?
I want to buy into him from like the cost that we spent on him. I like if you have the pieces, you're excited, but I want to know about Mike Evans. Like, he had a hamstring, right? Like, is he back? If he's not back, I think Godwin gets 12 to 15 targets. I think going forward, maybe Rashad White, who's already involved in the passing game, gets a little bit more. I liked Baker better with Evans in the field. So I'm more down on Baker, more up on Godwin. Godwin should be a smash until Evans comes back.
Cardinals waiver wire. So Ingram was behind Connor before an injury. And then so he got hurt, and there was this Emery DeMercado who seems athletic, maybe interesting, at the Rams, at the Seahawks, then Baltimore, and then Cleveland. Anything you want to do here? Like, are you bidding on anybody on Arizona?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you got Tony Jones. They just signed today. I think you gotta, like we always say, man, you gotta go get some of those pieces. DeMercado's interesting. I was forced to add him in a league on Sunday morning because I didn't have like any running backs, and I had to add him. And he ends up getting 12, and that would have been fine with me. But now he might end up starting. Moving forward, people are getting desperate now too. I think you mentioned last week, Mike, about like, hey, listen, I'm 2-2 or I'm 1-3 heading into the week. Like I got to spend my money. Same thing now, man. You're gonna have teams that are 1-4, 2-3. They're going to be looking to spend that money. DeMercado is a guy that I think is probably going to be the guy because he's already there, and he did pretty well last week. He doesn't look great. He doesn't look awesome, but you know what? Neither does Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams is getting 29 touches and stuff like that. So I think if you got DeMercado, you're excited, and if you're looking to pick somebody up with all the injuries, I think he's certainly worth adding. He'd be my number one add in that backfield. But there's Ingram there too.
Okay, team 30 of the night. The first team we've gotten to where I want to bet on everybody.
Ooh.
The Rams are 2-3. Their three losses are all against teams that played in the conference championship round last year. San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. And they were all close games.
Yep.
So, I mean, McVay is back there. I want all of it. Arizona, Pittsburgh, at Dallas, 42-31. At Green, just give me all of it with the Rams. Even Atwell, who I'm not sure is really getting phased out. He scored a touchdown last week. Could have had a big one that just missed for like 65, 70 yards. If it's a Rams question, the answer is yes, I think.
Well, they just traded Van Jefferson too. So that gets a little bit tighter. You know what I mean? So now you've got less mouths to feed. Arizona's going to be a great game for them for sure. Down the stretch, man, Washington, New Orleans, the Giants, the last 3 weeks, not terrible. But yeah, everything looks good there, right? All the receivers are clicking. Their Kupp looks like Cooper Kupp. Stafford looks healthy. I think you're right. Everything looks looking up for them for sure.
San Fran, I mean, it's also obvious. I have a lot of Jordan Mason. Yes. Mitchell has been out a couple of weeks and has been hurt a lot. Mason actually, he got there like anybody started him, but got in. to the end zone last week, had a run. I think he looks good. And McCaffrey leads the league in rushing, older. You got to make sure Mason is not unowned in your league.
Yeah, and the Niners are so good that they're going to be in games like that where they're blowing teams to bits and they want to give McCaffrey a rest the last 8 minutes of the game, and Mason's good enough to – it's like Miami, man. It's the same coaching staff. It's the same philosophies. Running the ball, they got those those nasty offensive lines, man. And any running back that they put in there is a guy that can hit a home run.
Seattle, it's the same. At Cincinnati, maybe. Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore. They're in that AFC North crunch of their season. That could go either way, I think. But Walker, of course, you play.
For sure. Walker's interesting. So Seattle has the sixth best receiver schedule remaining. Lots of good games. Their last 3 weeks, too. Philly, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, which is like one of the worst down the stretch. So super excited for their passing game coming off a bye. Let's get them right. The running back position's kind of the exact opposite. You've got a situation here where the schedule, Seattle has the toughest. They have a run in the middle of the season. Washington, Rams, Niners, Dallas, Niners, Philly. It's 6 straight really bad matchups. So in leagues where you can like trade, he gets Arizona. Walker gets Arizona in 2 weeks. He's probably going to smash against them. They're a really, really easy defense to run on. After that, he gets Cleveland, then Baltimore, then that stretch. I might look to trade Walker to get, I don't know what you trade him for, anything like that, what you need. But he's a guy that I might be looking to shop to get maybe some pieces. That's why these strength of schedule tools are really cool to look and see down the stretch who players are facing, and maybe you can get multiple pieces back in return for Kenneth Walker.
Good point. How's your voice?
It's getting hoarse.
Let's wrap it. Mike and Adam at Deep End FF1. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next Tuesday in the Deep End.
See you guys.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.